The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. Today, we have a couple special guests, Miss Debra Erickson from the Blind Kitchen, as well as Sugar Lopez. She's with ACB and their Diabetes Network. So they'll be discussing meals and controlling your diabetes through meals and stuff, I believe. But anyway, before we get into all of that, we have Miss Carol with us this morning. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, everyone.
And then my brother Pedro.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. And if George was here, he would say, hump the ones you love.
The ones closest to you, one or the other. So, but anyway, as well as our special guest, hello, Debra. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
And then Miss Sugar Lopez.
Good morning, everyone.
So let me get into these interest groups, and then we can get into these ladies and their topic of conversation. So today, Deborah's also here because they're going to be discussing some of the things they'll be talking about within her interest group today at 2 p.m. Pacific time. The Blind Kitchen. She's always bringing a lot of great stuff to the table, and today she's bringing this interesting, important topic to the table. So join her at 2 p.m. Pacific time within the Blind United Interest Groups, of course. And then later on, we have our AI for Beginners, and that will be at 5 o'clock Pacific time. And then we'll be going over, certain things just to make sure everybody's, getting comfortable with using AI, whatever platform they may use it on, whether it be chat or whether it be one of the, apps like Seeing AI, Envision AI, Be My Eyes, several different platforms out there that use AI nowadays. And then immediately after that is my brother Pedro and his advanced technology interest group, and that will be at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So got a full day for you guys today, 3 interest groups. So hopefully you guys can make it in and join us on these various interest groups. So, all right. Well, Debra, Sugar, it's your show. You guys, I don't know, you want to jump in first and re-inform some of the people who you are and what you're about and what you do? Debra, you first.
Sure. My name is Debra Erickson, and I'm the executive chef and founder of The Blind Kitchen, which is an online website that offers adaptive cooking tools and strategies to help people with vision loss to learn to cook safely and confidently and independently. And everything on The Blind Kitchen is related to vision loss. The whole thing is to improve the cooking experience or give somebody a step up into cooking with vision loss. We have a lot of people who used to be able to cook, but then because of age-related vision loss, don't know how to get back in there safely. And that's a big portion of what The Blind Kitchen does. It's to try and give people that piece of their identity back, because that's an important piece of your identity. If you're the cook for your family and now all of a sudden you're not, it's a big deal. So that is what I do. And now I'm going to let Sugar Lopez introduce herself. I was in one of my normal Wednesday meetings, and it was kind of funny because we were talking about, it was supposed to be health foods. It was in January. and we were supposed to be talking about health foods, and they were talking about deep frying and donuts and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is like herding cats, you guys. Come on. I had a whole different agenda, but I tend to go where the group is going to go. I want to keep them safe if they're going to be deep frying, so we'll talk about safe deep frying if we have to. But at the very end of it, I had made a comment, and people in the group said, "Hey, could we talk about diabetes next month?" And I was like, I don't know a lot about it. I'm not diabetic myself. It doesn't run in my family. I know the most minute details of it. So I reached out to the American Council of the Blind. They have a group called Diabetics in Action that Sugar will talk later, but I reached out to them and said, hey, is there someone that could co host with me for February? And they gave me this wonderful Sugar Lopez, who's a absolute wealth of information. And we had some technical difficulties in February, in February we weren't able to finish the meeting. So we're going to go ahead and we'll start it again at 2 o'clock this afternoon Pacific time. But then we're going to finish up that discussion. So, Sugar, let them know who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sugar Lopez, and I am the second vice president of ACB Diabetics in Action, or as we call it, ACBDA. And I have been a diabetic type 1 for 40 years. And due to diabetes, my sight was taken about 30 years ago, and I am a double kidney transplant. I just finished my second transplant for a kidney, and I've had a pancreas transplant. And I like to cook, and I've learned to cook in a healthier way. And I'm just here to support Debra in the Blind Kitchen because I enjoy the tools that she sells because they're so adaptive and easier for me to cook for my family. And also the importance of learning how to enjoy life being a diabetic. I've also said that, you know, I control my diabetes and diabetes does not control me. So that's a learning process, but it is it's very doable, and with the right equipment, education, and training, you can live a healthy life and a fun life. Just because you're diabetic doesn't mean that, you're a prisoner in your house. You can't have fun things to eat. We just have to learn to eat differently.
Okay. So how long have you been with the ACBDA? I believe you call it.
Yes, ACBDA. I have been with them since 2016.
Okay.
And I was a member, just, lurking around, trying to learn new things. And um, I lived in Riverside, California for a long time, and I was a president of the California Council of the Blind for their inland chapter. So that's where I started. My sight was taken in 1997, and I started joining the organization in 2000. So I learned a lot from them, and then from there I joined the ACB list, and then I was notified about the Diabetics in Action, and I got involved with them. So now I'm second vice. I'm the editor of their newsletter. I am a part of the membership committee, and I am the Sunshine Committee chair, which is if someone needs a pick-me-up, an encouragement, a goodwill card, or a thank you card, I send them little cards to let them know they're being thought of. I'm a big encourager. I believe that everybody needs somebody, and so I like to inspire people and encourage people and let them know that there's always hope through whatever
Okay.
situation they're in.
On that note, you want to share with people how they can reach out to you or the organization itself and become a part of the diabetes thing or whatever?
Yes, of course. If you're interested in knowing more and gaining more support as a blind diabetic, or if you are a part of a family member that is a diabetic, you can always go to our website, which is www.acbda.org. And if you have any questions or concerns or have problems, you can go to our email, which is acbdaorg at gmail.com.
Okay.
And and if anybody wants to ask me anything, I'm always happy to receive emails. My email is it's sugarsill71 at sbcglobal.net, which I will spell. It's SUGARSYL71 at sbcglobal.net. And I encourage everybody to take a look at our webpage at ACB Diabetics in Action. There's a lot of benefits that you can get from them. We get support, we get recipes, articles that has to do everything with diabetics, insulin, CGMs, everything possible that you need and can get support of, you will get it there.
All right. A lot of good information there. Right quick, Monica says good morning. Good morning, Monica. Uh, okay, well, ladies, take this in the direction you want it to go. So whenever you want to get ready or get started.
Well, we don't want to give away the farm because 2 o'clock is when the farm is on, but we can tell you how 2 o'clock this afternoon will proceed. So Deborah of the Blind Kitchen, am going to be uh, I'm an expert on cooking tools and techniques. Sugar is the expert on how to cook healthy and how to manage your diabetes through cooking. So she's going to be doing her talk about different substitutions. How can you eat fast foods? All kinds of different things that whatever she's going to say. And if when she is talking, like she might say, you want to lightly fry something in very light oil or whatever. And if I have a tool that has to do with frying, especially adaptive tool that has to do with frying or making sure the oil is going on very lightly, then I will wait for her to finish the sentence and then I'll intervene. I say, by the way, if you're wondering how you can achieve that step that she just spoke of, that's absolutely important for you to manage your diabetes. Here's a way to be able to do it with vision loss. This tool might make it easier, or this technique, because about I'd say about 60% of the Blind Kitchen, the website, is not about a tool, but it's more about techniques and strategies and things like that. So yeah, so we're just going to partner as a team on that.
Okay. So let me just go here then, and I'll just ask a question or two here and there, and Carol and Pedro, if you have a question as well, you can jump in. So, how important is it for folks that do have diabetic or pre-diabetic, whatever the case may be, right, to help try to control this with their diet? I guess that's a sugar question.
I think so.
Key points is to stay active. I don't like to say exercise because it just makes me feel like, oh, I don't want to exercise. But stay fit, stay active. It doesn't take very much. You can do it from your chair. You can, just walk around your house. You have a treadmill, take a walk outside. 15 to 20 minutes, that would help. Even if it's before you eat, and your sugars will be a little more leveled. Also on what you eat, of course. One thing I will speak about today is the plate method, is basically controlling your carbs because carbs will turn into sugar. And, sadly, we know that all the carbs is the fun stuff we like to eat: potato chips and mashed potatoes and French fries and rice and all of that, does elevate our sugar. So we need to control our carbs. Drink plenty of fluids, water, and just there's a lot of key points that we'll talk about today, but those are the most three: is to Always stay in touch with your medical team, your endocrinologist, which is a diabetic specialist, or your regular doctor for any changes that you may be going experiencing or want to do. But exercise, keeping busy, staying active, watching your carbs, um, and always watching and checking your glucose level. You know, doing that continuously and consistently will um, help you maintain your level on your A1C.
So now, what can people use to check their glucose levels if they don't have a glucose monitor?
They they do have glucose monitors, but if you don't have that, they do have CGMs, which is if you've heard of the Dexcom or Free Libres, which are pretty easy to get now because the insurance companies have lightened up on the rules on how to get one. You will need a doctor's prescription. Um, they do sell the only talking available glucose meter for the blind, and that's very accessible, is called the Prodigy Voice. And they sell that on Amazon or your pharmacy, and you can even get covered by your insurance. But what will save you a lot of pricking on your fingers is if you get the CGM. That is a life changer, a
What is a
game changer.
CGM?
A CGM is a controlled managing, oh, I forget the name of it, but
Hmm.
it's the like the Dexcom and the Free Libre, which it's a sensor you put on the back of your arm, and you work that with your iPhone, and the iPhone will tell you, it will read your blood sugars, interstitial fluid. So it's not an actual accurate number, but it kind of tells you more or less where you're at, and it will help you from preventing from going high or from going low because you can set alarms on that app. For example, on my app, if I go over 170, I will get an alarm telling me, you're going over 170. So I can either take a little insulin to lower it down or do some exercising, do some walking and try to get it down. Or in the middle of the night, if I'm dropping, it will alarm me that I'm dropping so I can, go have a juice or get something sweet because, going too low is very dangerous. So that, and that you can talk to your medical doctor about. But they do, those are the only two. And then there's medical pumps, which I don't use, but uh, it's a loop system where your app and the insulin, if you take insulin, it works together so it will help you as well manage your sugars and your levels.
That's interesting. And one of the things I really like about the Blind United platform is that it's all geared towards vision loss. Like you could talk with 100 dietitians and maybe, and I don't know this to be true, but I'm just saying maybe two would know about this talking meter because they don't need to know about it. But
Right.
with on Blind United, they definitely focus on finding ways for us to improve ourselves with with all the different trainings and stuff, so that and they you're going to be in good company because all the people around you in these trainings are experience some level of vision loss.
Right. And the good thing is about not all, I mean, you don't have to be blind to use the CGM, but it's very helpful. The majority of us, we all know people who are diabetics. And even if you're a type 2, it will help you. And for some type 2 people, it will help you not go into the type 1. So people who are taking like metformin or some form of oral medication to help level their glucose levels, this may help you um, to not go into taking insulin shots. It might even help you to get off oral medications because you can eat something and then go to your app and then now oh, I ate this. This is why my glucose is going high. So the next time not to eat that or maybe eat half of it. And so the more controlled that you are, the better your health will be at the end. So it's just nothing but good for you. It's like I said, it's a game changer for glucose levels.
The other thing I like about your attitude and the way you are teaching about this, like, I don't like to be told no, period. If I want that donut, I want to have that donut. But you don't say don't ever have a donut for the rest of your life.
No,
You say, have half of what you had and see how your body reacts to it. So I really like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always say, if you check your glucose level and you're doing pretty good, and it's your birthday or you're celebrating a special event, you're going to have a treat for yourself, treat yourself. But what I say is, if you're going to treat yourself with something good that you're going to enjoy, and not settle. But you're not going to do it every day, and it's also the amount, So if you want a piece of that chocolate cake, instead of getting a whole piece big chocolate cake, get a sliver, and enjoy it. And get something that you're going to want to enjoy, and don't say, well, do I get a donut or do I get crackers and peanut butter? You know, you want the donut, get the donut, eat half of it, and save the other half for another time, whatever the case may be. But you can still enjoy those fun foods that we all like. It's just the amount and when we can have it. And that's why it's important to check our glucose, because the more controlled we are, the more able we are to have those little treats from time to time.
Okay.
My
I w-
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Carol. I'll get to you in just a second, baby. I want to revisit something. This CP whatever it
CGM,
was,
CGM.
CPM
Uh-huh.
that you were speaking of. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sugar, is that the one that is actually the little disc that you insert in the back of your
Yes,
arm?
yes,
I've heard other people say that they insert it in their belly,
yes.
something like that. Uh, 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 Now, don't you have to be diagnosed with diabetes in order to get that prescription?
Yes, you can be a type 2 or a type 1,
Okay.
because that's only for checking your glucose level. So at the moment, it's only for diabetics, whether you're a type 1 or type 2. Um, but that is a form and of checking your glucose level, and it keeps you in better control.
So I guess my question is here, and then I'm gonna refer to Pedro on something else. Is there, for those that have not yet been diagnosed, is there
Uh-huh.
any way for them to track their glucose levels to see if they're, getting dangerously high or dangerously low, whatever the case may be?
Oh, yes, you can always purchase, or your doctor can. If you go to your doctor and you say you're concerned about your glucose levels, they can test your sugars there at the office, or you can purchase that Prodigy Voice. They're not expensive. They're maybe under $40. Um, and then they have the strips. But like I said, you can purchase them either on Amazon or on your pharmacy. Um, and if you're that concerned about your blood sugars, you can always purchase one and check it yourself. You know,
Okay.
there's several machines out there, but if you're visually impaired or totally blind, the only accessible one out there that talks to you is the Prodigy Voice,
Okay.
and it's great.
Well,
It's a good
well,
one.
okay. So let me now go to Pedro right quick, and then we'll get to Carol. Pedro, have they? He's our Apple guru. Have they brought that into the Apple Watch yet, as far as the glucose monitor?
Yeah, well, there was a generation of the watch that has the sensor, but it's not active. Apple likes to get their stuff certified by, I guess, the medical and like the correct agency and stuff to be certified on stuff like that. So, it's in some watches it is in there, but it's not active. Also, the device she was referring to that speaks. Yes, it is good to know in real time your blood sugar. I know for like the Libra and the what is it, the
Dexcom.
Dexcom G7 and G6 and stuff like that. You're able to get your reading and warnings, but also you're able to see your over day 7 graph. and a 24-hour graph and 28 days. And you also get like readings like where's your high, how you been, how much you've been in that level, your mid level, your regular level, low levels. But a good thing that you can do is sync it to your health app and then use their graphene audio feature to let us see the graph with audio. And you can, maneuver that data if you want to get deep into some graphs and get your overall sugar and
Right.
your numbers.
Okay.
It's about that time too, or you want to wait till the half of the hour?
We'll do this right quick, and then
Okay.
we'll let
Mhm.
Carol do her thing. Deborah, thank you for your comment about Blind United. Our goal here is just to try to make sure that everybody is informed in what's out there, and we just want everybody to be able to live their best life. So, Carol, you had a question, sweetheart?
Yes. I guess it would be for sugar. My mother was a diabetic. And, I know you were speaking earlier about juice, and the world kind of, gives us this misconception, I guess, that juice, if you're doing it healthier, to add an apple or a banana or an orange in a blender or a smoothie. But for a diabetic, that's considered toxic. Wouldn't it be if, you're trying to go natural by actually blending all this together instead of buying juice off of the shelf? But for my mother, I would keep orange juice if her sugar would run low just to bring it up. And so, by everyone making it to where juice is supposed to be a little healthier, it's still, even if you're throwing an apple, orange, or banana in a blender or, a juicer, it's still the natural sugar. It's still not good for a diabetic. Isn't that
Right.
correct?
Yes, and we can talk about that more today at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of information about juicing that we can talk about. If the only thing I will say is that if you're gonna have to choose between juice and the fresh app fruit, go for the fresh. Go for the
Okay.
Right.
fresh. And for
Okay.
Right.
diabetics, orange juice or apple juice is the best to get your
Right.
Okay.
sugars up.
To
Okay.
get it up, but not drinking it on a regular
Yeah.
basis
No,
because of the
right.
sugar.
But
Yes.
Right.
sugar, also when you buy juice already made, they have other processes
Additives.
that, yeah, additives. There
Mm-hmm.
you go. And then grinding up your vegetables. Yes, it still has natural sugar, but I remember reading an article and they were saying it's better to eat the fruit like that.
That
Your body absorbs
the
all the
nutrients.
yeah, the nutrients
Yes.
and the sugar in a different way than
That's what I was yes. If you have a choice between juice and the fresh fruit, go for the fresh fruit because it will slow down the glucose level going up and you will get the nutrients and all the minerals that your body needs to make it balanced.
Okay.
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 All right. Well, let's do these promos, and then we'll come right back with some more discussion on diabetes and controlling it.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. You can go to customcane.com. That's custom with a K, guys. And what Custom Cane does is they sell cane and cane accessories. It's like Burger King. You can have it your way. You can get a pink cane, a blue cane, a rainbow cane, a Broncos cane, a Chargers cane, a cane with the Braille alphabet, a cane with your name on it. Whatever you want, whatever type of handle you want, whatever type of tip you want. If you want an aircraft aluminum cane, if you want an all-terrain cane, telescoping cane, any type of cane, Custom Cane has it.
All right. God first commented that technology has really stepped up his game as far as being able to help us, with our glucose levels and the different monitors and stuff like that. So thank you for your comment, God first. Okay, I don't know. Anybody got a Pedro, Carol? You got another question for the ladies?
Um, and well, with insulin, I know there is different types. I know that I seen cause myself I don't have diabetes. But I seen fellow friends of mine that are blind and trying to calculate a dose. I noticed that it's mostly a myth. It's either you are giving yourself a little, a little bit, a little less than you need to, or a little more due to it not being accessible to some blind individuals. And my second part, do you think having a insulin once a week can benefit maybe some of these blind individuals, or is it different insulin types?
With insulin, it all depends. That's a issue with you and the medical and your medical team because every diabetic is different. I take Humalog, which is and they're in insulin. They're like in a pen form. So it's easy to access as a blind person because you turn the little click and every click is 1 unit. So for example, if I take anywhere from 3 to 5 units in the morning for breakfast, I could just click 1, 2, 3, that's 3 clicks or 5 clicks.
Now, sugar, is this an injection?
It is an injection,
Okay.
yes. It
Okay.
is an injection. Insulin is always an injection. If it's oral insulin, then you're talking about type 2, which is metformin and
Okay.
pills. But type 1 simply means that your pancreas is no longer producing the hormone insulin. So you have to do it manually, and that's by injection.
Okay.
Type 2 is when your pancreas is still producing that hormone insulin, but not enough to cover your meals. And when you're dosing, this is where you count your carbs. So you either need to get a nutritionist to teach you on what carbs are and how to count them because every food has carbs. So we want to stick to low carb menu plan because the lower your carbs and the higher protein you eat, the less insulin you have to take.
So, Sugar,
Okay,
let me ask
okay.
you another question real quick. So, if I am newly diagnosed as diabetic and I
Mhm,
happen to be blind,
mhm.
it, I'm guessing not every injection tool is accessible for blind people. That some are more accessible than others, like the one you have with a click being a unit.
Yes, yes. Yeah, most insulin pens or the way you take insulin today are in pens. So they are very accessible.
Okay.
Um, the old school way was you take the little vial and then there's the syringe and then you have to, hit the syringe to get the air bubbles out. That's
Mhm.
what I used to do, and it was very difficult. But the pens came out and it's a breeze because you don't have to worry about air bubbles. The insulin's already in the pen. You just turn the little click. But, always know that when you become a diabetic at first, you need to work closely with your endocrinologist and a nutritionist because they are the ones that are going to teach you how and the dosing and learning about carbs and learning what foods you can and can't have because, again, every diabetic and the situation is different. Um, so I'm not a medical doctor or a nutritionist, though I've worked with nutrition. But I do know that from my experiences, by getting in touch with an endocrinologist and a nutritionist, they really did help me. And I still continue to work with them because everything changes every year, so we have to stay on top of it. And this is why joining groups like the ACBDA keeps us updated on what's out there, the new things that are out there, the more accessible things that are out there. But working with your doctors closely, you get a head start doing that. But yes, most insulin tools are accessible. I wish all
And
of
like
the, yes.
And like you were saying, I mean, my mother, she was using 70/30. It was in a syringe,
Hmm.
but a lot of it also, I mean, she was trying to get the pen before she passed, but it just wasn't covered with the insurance. So a
Right.
lot of it, unfortunately, wasn't covered. I guess now it's more accessible.
Oh, yes, yes. They do have different. I use Humalog before every meal, and then I use Lantus at nighttime, which is once every day at night, you know. And
Right.
then Joey, what you were saying about, I'm sorry, Joey, Pedro, what you were saying about one insulin a week. They do have those out there, but like I said, every diabetic is different. So what
Hmm.
maybe works for me may not work for you, and vice versa.
Okay.
It just depends on the severity of the diabetes, or if you're
Hmm.
early on stage or later. That's between
Okay.
you and the doctor.
Okay.
And it sounds like if you have blind friends that are, dealing with syringes and maybe getting hit or miss, maybe they could reach out to the ACB Diabetics in Action
Hmm.
and see if someone out there has something that they know of that that person can then take back and discuss with their doctor. Say, hey, I heard
Right.
about this thing. Would it work for me? But to
Hmm.
take it to their medical team.
You
Yeah.
know, they do have what I used to use when I was using the syringe and the vials. They do have a little gadget um, where it does help you click the
Hmm.
insulin in, but you still have to be aware of those air bubbles. You don't want air bubbles because you're not going to get your full dose.
Yeah.
But if they can get away from not using the syringes and the air bubbles, I mean the insulin vials,
Hmm.
I would strongly suggest that they ask their doctor about moving into a pen because they're
Yeah.
more accessible and you will not hit and miss with that one.
Okay.
And
I
you
had a.
have to keep the insulin cold in the ice box, or when you're
N-
traveling,
not
have to pack it a
necessarily.
certain
Not
way, or
necessarily. No, every insulin is different. The one, for the most part, when I go out with my husband, like during the day, and we're out, and I just put my pen in my pocket or in my purse, and it's fine. I'm okay with that. And then when I
no,
come
I'm speaking
home,
of the vials.
oh yes, the vials have to
The
always
vials
be,
have to
yes,
always be cold. Yes.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
and the
I think
pens you don't.
Pedro, I think Pedro had another question, and I got one when he's done.
Yeah. Oh, I had a two-parter. Well, first part was you think a application, I don't know if you heard of My Fitness Pal. It
Hmm.
breaks down by calories, also by carbs,
Yes.
nutrients, and it will shoot that information to your health app. You think that can help someone that's visually impaired track their carbs if they're not a pro at tracking their carbs? Because I have seen the app and I used it before, and I've seen some of those features within there.
Hmm. I've not used it before, but I do know people who have, and they do like it. And if it works for you, then go for it. Whatever can help you is a great help. They have other
Um,
apps that do help.
yeah.
You know, help you tell you have to enter what you're going to eat, and they'll tell you
Hmm.
the dose that you have to take.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And my second part of my question was, let's say, for example, if there is a blind individual and for a reason the doctor's telling them no, no, that you shouldn't use that device, even though that device might make their dosing more accessible. Usually, is there like a organization that advocates for people with diabetes when it comes to certain things like that?
ACB is a great place. ACBDA, we all have that. We all have a legislation and governmental department. But a lot of it is learning how to self advocate for yourself, and we can teach them how to do that also. Um, Honestly, if your doctor is not willing to work with you, I don't want to say look for another doctor, but I would look for a second opinion. Or maybe talk to your doctor and say, this is what I have, this is what I have to live with, and do your own research before you go to your doctor and say, this is what this is what's happening and I like to try this. And there's nothing wrong with but being honest and straightforward with your doctor and saying, I want to
Hmm.
try this, you know.
Right.
Um,
Well, yeah, that is true. With your doctor, yeah, they're giving you advice because they're a professional, but you're also there to give your input and stuff like
exactly.
that. Not
You want
only
a doctor
say
who's
yeah,
going to work with you and not
of
against you.
course.
Right.
Yes.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. So first off, just because again, Blind United is a separate organization, although most of us in here, well, I mean, except for Sugar, of course, we are NFB. And I just want to make sure that I put it out there as well that NFB does have what they call the Diabetes Action Network.
Hmm.
So they will do a lot of the same things I believe that the ACB program does as well. So, but anyway, I want to recircle around to this pen, Sugar. Is this pen a reusable pen or is it a one dose type of situation?
Every pen has, you can have up to 100 units in the pen, up to 500 units. My pen has 300 units already in there. So I get 5 pens every other month. It depends on what you're taking your dose. Um, but you use one pen can last you a month.
Okay,
So,
so you dial in 3 to 5 clicks or whatever it is.
uh
You
huh,
say whatever your dose is,
right.
and then the next time you need
You
to do
go,
it, you just dial in a few more until
yes,
you use up that pen.
yes, uh huh, yeah.
Now, does it? Is there changeable needles or whatever
Yes,
you?
yeah, you will have uh, little, their needles are much finer and smaller than the regular syringes, so it's a lot easier. And what you do is just twist them on and off. You make sure you get a disposal a special carton to put them in, but
Right.
you do screw the little needles bit on and off every time you take a dose.
Okay, that sounds very accessible as well. Yeah, I was just
Yes.
concerned maybe there might be waste in there.
Hmm.
As much as insulin costs people nowadays and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah, no, no. Once the insulin leaves the needle, it does nothing comes back in.
Right, but no, I was again, like you said, maybe the needle of the pin itself only had maybe 10
Oh,
cc's or whatever of it. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? You only use
yes.
five, and now you're throwing five away,
No,
right?
no, no. You can. I take my 3 or 5 in the morning, and then back lunchtime I can do it again. Now I use my needles maybe once or twice. I don't change them every day because I don't. Um, they're not. People say use them until you feel it gets dull, but you don't want to do that either. So I would always suggest that for every time you inject yourself, remove the needle and put a new one in. So that way you're not getting any kind of clog in the needle. You want to get the full dose,
Right.
and it's just more safer. So when you get the pen, you also need to ask for the needles. And like it's very accessible. They're covered. You can't poke yourself really because they're all covered and they're double capped, so you screw them on the pin and then you undo the caps and then you're ready to go.
So on that note, as you stated that sometimes you use them a couple times with the same needle. Would it be advised on that maybe second dose or even the first dose just for safety measures,
Yeah,
wiping it with alcohol or something before
you
you do the
can.
injection?
Yeah, you can. A lot of people just wipe the area that you're going to inject yourself with alcohol too. Um, and then, as always, you don't share the needles with anybody, so it's just you.
Right.
Um, yeah, but for safety purposes, you can wipe the needle with alcohol. And I lately have tried just switch needles altogether. Every time I put a dose, I switch to the new one because it's just easier that way. You don't have to worry about, did I change it today or didn't I change it today? So if you change it after every use, it's just much better. It's easier that way.
So do you have to still do it in the same areas like your stomach or the
Your
fatty part
stomach,
of
your
your
arms, or
arm
your
or okay.
legs. Yeah,
Yeah, yes, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, we had a couple people commenting, Tisha and Daniel. They both commented and said, thank you for the very valuable information we're sharing here today. So I want to thank the ladies for sharing that information with us because I'm being honest, I'm not diabetic. I'm totally ignorant to this kind of stuff. So I really appreciate the wealth of information that's on here with us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, let me see. Pedro, let's go ahead and hit one more promo, well, a set of promos, and then we'll close out.
Do you need to talk? Are you struggling with your mental health? Are you struggling with substance abuse issues? Call the Orange County NAMI Warm Line. That number is 877-910-9276. That number again is 877-910-9276.
Hustling jingles, $10 a shot. Birthday beats and holiday knocks. Gotcha covered for the ones you love. Personalized joy like a custom glove. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford. Got a catchy tune for your babe. Poppin' beats like dreams we crave. For Mama's Day or Papa's cheer, let's make smiles from ear to ear. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford.
Well, it's a little off topic, but how did you enjoy the jingle that we created for you, Deborah? Did it work out for you?
Yeah, I did like it very, very much. And in fact, I'm one of 12 kids, so I got that one for my oldest sister. So I need to get those in there because I want to get one for each of my siblings.
Okay.
And it was nice that they let me customize it and like say she was a nurse and she was a teacher and she was a mother and they incorporated all of that into her jingle. So it was really cool.
Right, right, right. So again, we're doing this. This is a little fundraiser for Blind United for those that may not know. Uh, and again, it's for, we started this pre-Valentine's Day, and it's promoting it as a Valentine's gift, something different. But again, it's for whatever, Father's Day, Mother's Day, graduations, promotion on the job, whatever the case may be. Just like you say, it's just something you can create that's unique, and they can hold on to forever. I mean, I did one for each of my daughters, and they all love them, and they've now actually turned them into ringtones. So whenever Daddy calls, it plays. So if that's something anybody's interested in, again, info at blindunited.org, and we'll send you the link to the form where you can fill it out, as Deborah was saying, and get it customized to the person and that you're creating it for. So, all right. Well, I mean, we got a 20, 15, 20 minutes left, ladies. Uh, I mean, again, I don't know myself personally, Sugar. You're going to probably cringe when I say this. I'm not a healthy eater at all. I actually classify myself as a junk food junkie. I do not eat any fruit, any fish, or any vegetables. So, sorry, I know I can tell you're cringing right there. But I mean, again, I'm pretty healthy. I mean, I've not been diagnosed or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just one of those that believe that your body tells you what it needs, and
Hmm.
even though I may be eating in a junk food form, my body tells me, oh, okay, well, you need some chocolate, or you need, some, or you need some
That's you
fiber.
craving it. That's just you craving.
No, I mean, there's times, like, fiber, okay, I need some cereal this morning or whatever to get my fiber that way or whatever the case may be.
I think
Uh,
chocolate is a food group.
uh,
Actually, dark chocolate is good for you.
right. I do a lot of dark chocolate.
As long as it's a 70% cocoa or cocoa. you're good, you know.
Yeah.
But not, not bags full, but everything I say everything in moderation.
Well, I mean, the only reason I ask this question because everybody's always expressing, how important it is to do eat this, eat that, eat this, eat that.
Hmm.
And again, I mean, I'll be 68 years old next month, and unless I just totally crash at some point, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, I say whatever works for you, you keep it up and you do it. Everyone's different. Some people, they can not eat vegetables or fruit all their lives and they're happy and nothing's wrong. Other people can't do that. So
Right.
everyone's different. But I tell my husband, for example, honey, you better watch out and take care for your body because one day it's going to take care of you and maybe not in a good way
Mm,
you know. So it just depends. It just depends. But if you're a diabetic, and I just say everything in moderation, stay close to your doctors and your nutritionist, and just be aware of what you're putting in your mouth. Is it going to benefit me or is it going to tear me down? And that's something that we all can say. But whatever
mm,
works for you, and if you're okay with it, then who am I to say,
mm.
shame, shame, shame? You know.
Right.
Right.
So, you know.
Um, what I do is that I have found like the vegetables or the fruits that I like.
Hmm.
Um, like for example, I rather substitute spinach instead of lettuce. Lettuce is something that I don't really like to consume.
Hmm.
But I substitute with lettuce. I mean, with spinach and other things like that. I stick
And
to.
actually, spinach is much better than lettuce because you get more minerals and more vitamins, more iron.
Hmm.
Um, and lettuce is basically is nothing. It's just water. You know.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like the
Yeah.
romaine is nothing but water.
Right.
And I found certain fruits that I like.
Hmm.
My children they love that what they call dragon fruit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those are pretty good, pretty good.
And again, if you have a choice between canned fruit and fresh fruit, go for the fresh fruit,
Hmm.
unless you get the canned with water.
Yes,
You
yes.
know. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and I find ways to sneak healthy foods because my husband's more like Ed. He would definitely
Yeah.
be in the snack aisle the whole time we're in the store if he had the chance. But so I can grab like a handful of fresh arugula or a handful of fresh spinach and put it in the pasta sauce. He doesn't even know it's there. I put it in at the end, so I'm not cooking all the nutrients out of it. It's just
Hmm.
going to wilt inside it, and it doesn't taste like anything, but he's still getting the nutrients and fiber and vitamins that
Right.
those provide.
Well, I will admit my family knows me and they know that trick as well. So when they cook meals that I am partaking in with them, and they will, like I say, magically make the stuff disappear that they know I don't necessarily eat.
Right,
So,
right.
cover that taste up or whatever the case may be. So it does work.
Yep. What you don't see won't hurt you.
Right, right, right. Well, with me, it's more of taste and texture,
Yes.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So, and I got to tell a quick story. When I had my accident and became legally blind, I actually had broken my whole face. And my wife, she's one of them that ate everything, right? So during that period of time, and my jaw was wired up, my wife had a field day because everything I had to eat, everything had to come through a straw. So she just
Mm.
liquefied everything, and she said, "Well, I gave you enough vegetables and stuff during that 3 month period or whatever it was. Trust and believe me, it's going to last you a long time."
It was like, oh, I feel more energy. Oh, I lost some weight.
Well, I mean, my taste buds were messed up as well. I mean, I'm being honest. At that point,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, everything tasted like chili.
Oh.
Mm.
Huh.
I, I don't know why, but
Oh.
everything did. But
That's interesting. Well,
yeah.
well, the other thing I've noticed in my conversations with people with vision loss, taste and texture are things. It's
Hmm.
they people have strong feelings about those, just like you talked like cream cheese. Some people can't even get near it, or cottage cheese. So there are taste and texture are definitely a thing when you lose your vision, that we seem to pay more attention to it, or it seems to be higher in our awareness than before vision loss.
Right. They
Yeah.
don't like regular cream cheese, but they love cheesecake and they love cream
Right,
cheese
right.
dressings and
It's a weird thing. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
weird
it
thing,
is.
but it's
Yeah.
real. But
Well,
it's
it's
real.
like me. I
They
don't
go
like
through fabrics
fruits.
also.
Yeah, it's like me. I don't like, per se fruits, strawberries or whatever like that, but I'll eat strawberry preserves, you know.
I don't
Uh,
like strawberries. They're
I don't know.
okay.
Maybe it's just the extra sugar in there or
I was
something.
gonna
I don't
say
know.
I don't like strawberries, but I eat a strawberry pie or a strawberry cheesecake. It's just yeah, it's the
Yeah.
sugar. It's the sugar that attracts
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah,
texture and the seeds of a fresh
Mm-hmm.
one can be offsetting to some people.
yeah.
Yep. Everyone's different.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, but I like what you say as well, sugar, because that's actually part of our thing here at Blind United as well. Whether it's, this, what we're speaking on now, or whether it's technology or whatever the case may be, whatever works for you. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, some people prefer a dog over a cane, and, okay, well, whatever works for you.
Right, right.
Uh,
We're all individuals with different and special unique gifts that we all can bring to the table. And that's what it's about. Sharing what works for each other. What works for me may not work for you, but maybe I may learn something from you, and maybe you may learn something from me. It's
right.
just about an everyday growth and learning and receiving knowledge about other people and what works for them. We can adapt that in our lives or not, but that's up to us.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's always good to experiment to expand your horizons too when it
Oh,
comes to
yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And if it works for you, great. And if it doesn't work for you, well, I'm not going to do that no more because that doesn't work for me.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Hmm.
I mean, again, there's no, in my opinion, there's no set way to do things. I mean, just like I'll just go back to like O&M, right?
Mhm,
When they were teaching me how to use my cane, well, you need to center this in your belly. You need to just use your wrist action to go from side to side, and yada, yada, yada. Number one, it is so uncomfortable to hold your hand in that position, number one.
mhm,
Number two, if anybody has ever walked the streets of LA or whatever and had all of these bad sidewalks, and the next thing you know, your stuff is getting caught, in one of them cracks or whatever, you
mhm,
jam yourself right in the middle of your gut. That really,
mhm,
really hurts. So, you
Hmm.
know, most of us, we kind of hold our arm off to the side and we just
mhm.
swing further to, if you're me, I'm right-handed, so I swing further to the left when I'm, clearing my path.
Right, right.
It works
Yeah.
out fine. So again,
Uh,
back to whatever works for you.
I used to tell my
ye-
mobility instructor, who's the one that's going to be holding the cane, you or me?
yeah,
Right.
I told my
Right.
instructor like this before, but I would tell you the good advice that I got from that, because I was already navigating before I got an instructor. I was already years into blindness. I told her, well, you just did a test for 2 weeks. I do this every day,
Hmm.
but it was just to show, not to put her down, but just to show that I am always using this, that I might have certain techniques. And what Ed said about placing your hand in the center, I do that on occasion, especially crossing the street. I notice when I hold it like that, I don't veer to the right or to the left, you
Exactly.
know,
Hmm.
when
Right.
I'm holding it in front of me. Well, now when I go to the sidewalk, I might hold it to the side, but, I notice with certain tips, I get more feedback, more feel, more noise of the echo, but yeah, so I use different techniques. I incorporate everything.
Right. Well, and I'm like Pedro. I'll agree. I do have trouble veering. I veer to the right. And again, when I'm crossing intersections in order to stay in that sidewalk, I will center that cane right in front of me. It definitely helps me walk straight across the street. So,
It centers
there,
you, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I mean, so there's time to follow the rules and there's time to bend them. I guess if that's what we're going to call it, right?
Right.
I'm a
You know.
lefty, by the way. I do
Well,
love.
okay. Well, again, whatever works for you, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So,
And I do
all right.
constant contact. I don't go from tip here, tip there. I go constant contact. I need to know every old crack, whatever's in the way. I'm sliding back and
Oh, I'm
forth.
doing both. Tap and track.
All right. Well, we have come to the end of our hour, so I appreciate you ladies for coming in and sharing all of this wealth of information with us. Been a very informative conversation with you folks. So, again, 2 o'clock today, Pacific time. Join us in the Blind United Interest Group, the Blind Kitchen with Debra Erickson, and her and Miss Sugar Lopez. They are going to continue this conversation and share a lot more information that they were not willing to share with us today. We don't want to kill their show, right? So they'll have a very good interest group going on today. So again, at 2 o'clock p.m., come on in, join us, hang out with us, and then if you need help with your AI or maybe some advanced technology, again, we got a couple more interest groups a little bit later, starting at 5 o'clock. So again, Sugar, Debra, I appreciate you folks, and
Thank you.
thank you for coming on and sharing everything. And we will see everybody on the next one. Everybody, on that note, have a great day. And like I say, it's hump day. George says it west, but hump the ones closest to you. So on that note, everybody have a great day, and we will talk to you guys later.